our souls came into a world that is filled with boundaries and limitations for a reason, to play and to explore and to push those boundaries and to experience the limits of those boundaries. And like, what does it mean to be a limitless, infinite being of the universe, an extension of the universe, in a seemingly perceived limited physical body? Our ego exists for a purpose. It's part of our interfacing with the physical world, right? It's how we kind of survive in this world. This is a big month of surrender. Hello and welcome to the August monthly energy reading. My name is Rachel. I'm an intuitive energy healer and spiritual guide. I am so excited to be here with you today. I can't believe it's August already. I've been saying that like every month this year. I can't believe it's this month already. I'm personally kind of grateful that it's going by quickly because that means the summer's almost over and I'll have a reprieve from the heat. I hope you're doing well. I know that I've been hearing a lot about people experiencing a lot of like ascension symptoms right now. A lot of physical upgrades are potentially happening. A lot of people have been saying they're very tired. Or they've been having weird things with their sleep. I personally have been sleeping either like a ton or not at all. I've also had some like digestion stuff going on. I've been really hungry even with the digestion stuff, so it's been a little weird. It's a little uncomfortable right now. I know there's a lot of energy moving around. So today we're going to look at the energies coming up for August. A couple of things here. I am offering 50% off my one-on-one sessions right now, which is very exciting. It makes it so much more accessible for people. So if you've been wanting to work with me, or if you feel aligned or called to work with me, there's a link for that in the description. It's a really wonderful opportunity to get some one-on-one support while it's at this lower price. I don't know how long I'm going to be offering that for. It's just until my intuition tells me that we're not doing that anymore. And another thing very exciting, I am going to be hosting a brand new workshop in September on self-worth. It is called Self-Worth Reworked. It is going to be a mind, body, spirit approach to self-worth. So if that feels interesting to you, there's a link for that in the description as well. We're doing early bird pricing, so now would be a good time to sign up for it if you feel called to it, because you'll save like 44 bucks. I think that's how much you'll save if you sign up for the early bird signups. I can't remember what date that stops on my dates. But the workshop will be September 12th, 13th, and 14th. And it's going to be a really integrative, immersive experience, really all about relationship with yourself, how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and that, affects how we live our lives, right? So it's going to be a deep dive on self-worth, self-acceptance, self-love, and I would love to see you there. So let's get started on our reading today. Let's see here. I'm just hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. My home isn't the most efficient for cooling in the summer, so I think it's like 80 degrees in here, which I'm not a fan of. So hopefully one day I'll be moving to the East Coast maybe. So let's tune in here and see where our first card is going to come from. Okay. We're going to have our first theme coming from the Ancient Stones Oracle from Rebecca Campbell. She has a new deck coming out soon that looks amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on that one. So let's tune into our first theme here for August 2025. Okay, lay it on the altar, hand it over, soften, surrender, forgive. Yeah, I mean, just with my exhale there, that's, a representative of this energy here. Yeah, I'm feeling this like dropping down energy, this releasing, this relaxing, this letting go energy, right? With this like lay it on the altar. I feel this like this acknowledgement of support that we have that maybe we're not taking advantage of, we're not using. Like we have the support of the universe on our sides. The universe has our backs. Our guide team, our spirit team, angels, ancestors, they're supporting us, right? And this energy of, yeah, hand it over, soften, surrender, forgive. I'm really feeling this. It's obviously not like a giving up energy, but it really is this like deep letting go, this deep surrendering. Like the phrase giving in is coming up, but not in a negative way, not this like giving up energy. It's this kind of like, it's just like a big letting go. I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah. It feels like there might be something specific. There might be something in particular that maybe a part of you has been clinging on to, that your soul is ready for you to let go of, so you can step into this next level of alignment, right? This next level here. I know that there's going to be a lot of amplification energy coming up this month, so it really is probably a very good time to be letting go of anything that doesn't align with you, right? And our ego can fight that quite a bit. And it's kind of about like letting, in a loving way, like letting your ego know that like, we're going to do something different, and I'm going to do my best to help you feel safe doing this different thing. But we're going to do something different, right? So let's get some supporting energies here. Lay it on the altar. I want to prop this card up so I can see it better. This crystal. There we go. The Chariot. Okay. The 10 of Swords and the Page of Swords. Okay. So we have the Chariot, the 10 of Swords, and the Page of Swords. But then obviously, I mean, this 10 of Swords energy is such a big completion energy. Especially just like with the imagery in this card specifically, it's very much like doneness, right? And I am always drawn to like the dawn coming up, right? Like, yes, there's like darkness, yes, there's like this ending here, and there's something new coming, right? And especially having the Chariot with that too. So this is in the energy of lay it on the altar, right? The surrender, the forgiveness, the softening, hand it over, letting go energy. And the Chariot, I'm feeling this like, I'm feeling this, the swiftness of energy that is kind of like sweeping us up and carrying us into this next phase, right? And so loosening our grip on anything that we may have been holding on to that's preventing us from moving forward. It almost feels like it's like we like just can't hold on to it anymore. It's not that we don't have a choice in it, but it's almost like this is something that is going to move through us and pass through us, that is part of our up leveling as a collective right now. So it feels like there is this like we're going in this new direction, and this is kind of like, it's kind of like what our souls signed up for, right? I'm feeling that energy. I'm like being a little careful with my words because I don't want it to sound like we don't have our free will to choose, right? But there is this aspect of life where surrender and letting go and trusting the process and going with the flow and loosening your grip, letting go of like the micromanaging that we all do, our control issues that come from our ego, because our ego wants to feel safe and make sure we have all the things we need, and so it does what it thinks is best for us. We all have that, and there is this element of being human, of surrender, right? Because being a human being, it is just true that we have a limited perception of the world, and there's a lot more happening than we can see. This was a big theme last month, that there's like a lot happening behind the scenes that we simply can't see. We can definitely tune into and connect with, and it feels like there is this like surrendering to what's coming kind of energy, like surrendering to a new path. And it might be uncomfortable, it might not feel good immediately, because it's different, not because it's out of alignment, but because it's not something that we're used to. It doesn't feel like natural to us because it's something new. But this Page of Swords energy, like this card has a lot of playfulness in it, and so it really kind of lightens this energy, right? Because it can feel a little like intense. And so having the Page of Swords here is really important to really bring into this energy. So we have this lightness, this playfulness, this kind of like, I'm feeling this acceptance energy. Yeah, it's like parts of you are tired and they're done like playing the game and like trying to keep up with appearances, so to speak, or keep up with like false expectations. And like you're just done, like you just want to be yourself, you want to play, you want to like go where it's better, simply put. Yeah, like this Chariot energy, it really is this like, it's almost like there was a preparation that occurred before we got to this Chariot point, and now it's like there is this element of like going on a journey here, on a new journey, but it's in a very different way, right? Okay, interesting. Let's move into our next theme here. Which deck? Okay. Okay, our second theme for August 2025. Okay, Mahavatar Babaji, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. Let's just sit with that for a moment, yeah? Your soul is expanding. Your consciousness is expanding, right? Like your soul is on a new, like this new path, right? Like that your soul knew it was coming here to experience. We are just like at a weird time in human history where yes, like we signed up to be here, but being human during this is challenging, right? And so that's, I mean, that feels like exactly why this first theme came up, of like surrendering, letting go, like letting yourself be done with the old, and having this like new fresh perspective on it with this Page of Swords energy here, of like what could be, right? Like how could it be different? How could it be better? It doesn't have to be what it's been, right? And that is what this like soul expansion is, right? Like we're coming into a greater connection with our place in the universe, with our connection to galactic beings, to just like space as a whole, right? I said this in one of the monthly energy readings at some point in the past few months, that like Earth is galactic, like we are part of the galaxy, we are part of space, we exist in space. It's not out there, it's literally right here, like we are it, which can be a little bit confusing for our terrestrial minds to comprehend, because Earth is all we know, right? Most of us, at least, most of us haven't been to space. maybe you've astral traveled there. But physically, right, like we exist here. So yes, okay. Yeah, I'm really feeling the importance of that first theme again, like coming through, of this like surrender energy. I'm feeling called to look at the forgiveness energy in the first theme as it relates to this one, because like it is this expansion happening that like it is like it's going to happen regardless of if we want to or not, right? Like that was that energy of like me feeling confused about the choice in it. It's like this is what our soul signed up for, and this is like the direction we're moving in. Okay, let's get supporting energy, because I'm very curious what else is coming through with this. The Nine of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Devil. Oh my gosh, I love this. Wow. Okay, so the Nine of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Devil. Okay, and this is with soul expansion, right? Like this is, let's talk about the Nine of Wands first. So this Nine of Wands energy, this is like nearing completion. There's a little bit of like, in this Nine of Wands energy, there is this like reflection piece of like looking at how far we've come, but it does feel like this kind of like acknowledgement of like life is challenging. Like I had mentioned, like being human is a little bit challenging. This is something I say all the time because I feel like it needs to be acknowledged, right? And like it can be challenging, and we don't have to like have that be our only perspective, right? As someone who has lived in that perspective just way too much, perhaps, it doesn't have to be harder than it is, but also like we can approach challenges from a place of empowerment, right? From a place of understanding that like our soul is on this journey, our soul chose this, and it's kind of freeing. It's like, oh, like this isn't all there is. This isn't like the only thing that's happening for me. There's so much more happening, right? Like this is just a temporary experience. But like, especially like with, I mean, all of these cards here, but the Five of Pentacles, like it does speak to like contraction, challenge with like physical reality. I'm kind of feeling, I really am feeling this kind of like contraction energy, and I've heard some either channeled messages or spiritual teachers talking about how there's this kind of like squeeze happening, and I'm feeling that a little bit. There's this squeeze happening with humanity, with the collective, and it's like feeling very tight, and there's something about like some weird quantum physics thing happening, this energy that I'm feeling coming through, that I don't have the vocabulary to explain or the knowledge base to explain what that is, but there's something that's happening that feels like it's happening on a quantum level, where there's this kind of like structural change occurring. Whoa, that's weird. And it feels like this, like there's just there's a structural shift happening. Like I had mentioned, like before I even started pulling cards, like there's kind of like physical upgrades happening, but it even feels like in the physical plane, like not just in our physical bodies, but in the third dimension itself, like in the earth plane itself, in our physical world, there's this shift happening. And like in the Nine of Wands energy too, there is this energy, this piece about like keep going. And it might be uncomfortable. It might be, there might be a little bit of challenge here, even though this is like nearing completion. It does feel like there's a little bit of like a final push. And I feel like that's that contraction energy here. But let's talk about the Devil card being here, because this is like a dropping of the old identity, of like that struggle identity that I was kind of speaking to a little bit, with like things not needing to be just a challenge, right? Like life isn't just a challenge, it is also about experience and expansion. But this is like a letting go of like all of the things that were holding us back. This really ties into that first theme here. But with the soul expansion here, this is the acknowledgement of the ego, the limitations, the shadow aspects, your wounds and traumas that you've experienced, right? And how that has seemingly separated you from source, from your truth, right? Like those things create clouds and temporary blockages in perception of who we really are, right? Like those are the things that kind of shape us as human beings until we kind of start opening up and awakening into higher consciousness. If we're blessed with that, right? I think a lot more people are today than they were in the past. At least that's from my understanding of being, you know, only in my 30s, but from hearing from the elders of what it used to be, right? There's this energy of like really working with the ego in a way that is like loving and tender and like caring, but also like the phrase not letting it win is coming through, which I'm not the biggest fan of because I don't like the idea of like competition and competitive energy, but there is this energy. I mean, you're a human being, so I'm sure you've experienced parts of yourself who have been just insistent that this is the way things are, when a part of you is like, that's not the way it is. Like, why are you telling me that I need to be afraid of this thing? Why are you telling me that like I'm bad? Why are you telling me that like this thing isn't gonna work out, or like I can't have what I want? Like, you know, all of the things that our ego tells us, right? And we can have a healthy relationship with our ego. Like our ego exists for a purpose. It's part of our interfacing with the physical world, right? It's how we kind of survive in this world. Right? Like it serves a purpose. And there's an aspect of it that is like coming with us in this soul expansion, right? That is going to be participating in this soul expansion, it feels, which is kind of an interesting thing to think about. But this theme specifically, there's this recognition of like all of the challenges that you've faced up to this point is part of your soul expansion. And I almost like want to say that again. All of the challenges that you have faced up to this point have been part of your soul expansion. What do you notice when I say that, right? Like what comes up for you? Because when you take that in as truth, it again is like very freeing. It really lightens the load of like the struggle and the strife and the pain that like being human is, right? Yeah, this is, I mean, the devil being here is very much indicative of a healing journey that we're on. This transformational piece, this working with shadow qualities, with wounds, with the conditioning that has kept us small, and limited, that we all experience. That's part of being human at this point in time, right? And for many years in our history as a species. But because like there's this expansion happening, like we need to look at all this stuff, right? Like we need to address it. We need to acknowledge all of these things and come back into wholeness around it, right? Because things that like cause us to feel separate and disconnected from source and from our truth, they keep us out of wholeness, right? Like they keep us out of understanding that we are complete and whole as we are. And so there's this integration energy that needs to occur as we go up into these higher states of consciousness, right? Like there's this shedding that happens and this honoring of like these pieces that kept us separate, right? Seemingly separate. Okay, we're going on to our next theme here. Which deck is it coming from? Okay, we're going to do Starseed Oracle from Rebecca Campbell. I feel like I haven't used this deck for an energy theme in a while here. Monthly energy theme at least. Okay. What is our third theme for August 2025? Okay, Breath of the Cosmos. My will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Okay, so actually in this, when I was speaking to our first theme here, this card came to mind, this like micromanaging the universe energy. I was seeing this image in my mind, so it makes sense that it's here, that this is the card that came out. My will to thy, yeah, it's again this like surrendering here. This, I love the imagery, the breath of the cosmos. It's again like an acknowledgement of our greater role in the universe, like the significance that us being here has. I've had this thought this week that like I don't know how many souls exist in the universe. It could potentially be infinite because the universe is infinite and souls are just segmented off pieces, extensions of the universe. And so it's interesting to think that like of all the souls that exist in the universe, like yours got to come here, right? Because like yes, there's 8 billion people here, but also like in comparison to infinity, it's not that many, right? It's still a lot, right? Like there's a lot of us here. But it's interesting to think that like your soul chose to come here, and I do see like Earth as a school, right? A school where we come to learn lessons. And I've heard spiritual teachers and channelers say that like Earth is a school, a planet for masters, like people who, souls who already have mastered some level. They come here to master even more. And it's a lot about mastering emotions and mastering our like consciousness, right? And this feels like coming into that, right? It feels like coming into like, again, like we're so much more than just this physical reality. We have all of this support for us. I'm just seeing this kind of like blendedness that like I'm kind of seeing us as like non-physical, and just like kind of blended in with the universe, like very very similar to the imagery in this card. It feels like this, like there's no boundaries, there's no separateness, but there's still this recognition of distinction, but there's no true boundaries and no true separation, right? Yeah, and like coming back to the written message here, the my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe, it does come back to surrender, right? So this is a big month of surrender, right? Like surrendering to the flow, surrendering to your higher self, while also like you know what you need more than anyone, right? And I think that in the spiritual space, it's not uncommon for us to surrender our choices to like our guides or to spiritual teachers or to spiritual principles, even concepts, right? But ultimately, like you are the one who has the say in your life, right? You're the one who has to live your life. You're the one that has to live in this world. And I'm feeling this importance of like the presence of our ego, right? Because it helps us to navigate the world. Like if we live like strictly from a place where we don't bring any level of practicality into it, which is like my lifelong struggle. Maybe it'll be ending soon. I don't want to. We're gonna clear, cancel, delete that. We don't want it to be lifelong. It's definitely an interesting piece for me with like knowing who I am, what I'm capable of, and feeling a little bit like trapped in these boundaries of physical reality. Um, while also knowing that like I don't have to be trapped by these physical boundary limitations, right? Um, but in order to survive, like I need to make money, I need to take care of myself, I need to sleep, right? Like there are things that are required for my physical survival in this reality, right, that need to be taken into consideration when I'm living my life, right? Because yes, I believe anything is possible, and our souls came into a world that is filled with boundaries and limitations for a reason, to play and to explore and to push those boundaries and to experience the limits of those boundaries. And like, what does it mean to be a limitless, infinite being of the universe, an extension of the universe in a seemingly perceived limited physical body, right? It's interesting to consider, right? It's like, what does it mean? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for your soul growth and expansion that we're experiencing? And how can you work with both pieces? How can you work with the seemingly dualistic pieces here and bringing it into a more non-dual space? I'm really curious about the supporting energies that are going to come out here. So let's pull those. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay. The Six of Swords. And the Hermit. Okay, so I had a good chunk of cards pop out that were just too many for, we're 30 minutes into this reading. And the Hermit card was on the bottom of that, and the Hermit came out with this. So I had my reaction to the Knight of Pentacles because this card is about practicality. It's about taking the physical actions, the physical steps. So that's like kind of what I was speaking to with like, yes, we are this, right? Like we're this, and we're this soul expansion, we're this true boundaryless energy of consciousness that has partitioned its focus off into a limited experience, right? And in this limited experience, this physical reality that has boundaries, like we have to take actions, we have to do the things, we have to take care of ourselves. Sure, we could just like sit around and do nothing. I don't know that our souls would be very fulfilled by that, right? And especially with like, the Six of Swords coming up with this card is about like movement too. Like the Knight of Pentacles is very much like movement in the physical realm, like taking the literal steps, the literal actions, the physical movement. And this Six of Swords, there is this like, I'm feeling this kind of transition energy. This card, I pick up on like the waves that are on this side and the stillness on this side, and like with the swords here, there's the way that they're positioned, there's this kind of like protection energy here. And the knights, I always feel this like protection and support energy through the knights. And so like there is this movement. It's almost like there's a clear path forward in whatever it is that you are meant to be doing. There's a clear path forward, and maybe you can't see it right now. That's very possible. But it's there, and you can tune into it, you can open up to it. Like, I think that there's probably like a little bit of letting go that needs to occur for you to be able to see it a little bit more clearly. And also, in my experience in this year, and I think that, it's happening for other people too. I've heard similarities in other people's experiences. There's this uncertainty about exactly what it's going to look like, right? For me personally, I've had all different kinds of ideas of what I want my future to look like this year, and they've all felt real. And I have been slow to take action on them because it's been like unclear on which one is for me. And up until 2 days ago, I didn't know what the next 2 months of my life looked like, because I had multiple things to make choices between, and it was unclear. And I'm like, we're getting close to needing to make a decision on this stuff because deadlines are coming up, and so we need to figure that out, right? And then I still didn't know. And then another option came in that was much better suited for me, right? Um, so just saying that, like, I think that, like, being able to see a little bit further into the future is a little bit unclear for us right now because there is so much change happening. There are so many different possibilities, and I think that we're like learning to hone in on what is most in alignment for us, and it's going to take a little bit of practice. And I do think that part of that is seeing how many different options there are for us, right? Like, just because you have so many different options and you're confused about what you want to do, like, that doesn't mean that you're in a bad place. Like, actually, that means you're in a great place because you see how much potential and how many different options you have, right? um and maybe you just like don't see any options right now, which is a totally valid place to be. Like, you're just very unclear, you're very uncertain, you like have truly no idea. Like, that's so normal too. And like, let's bring the Hermit into this, right? Because this is a card of like your inner world, deliberately coming into your inner world, deliberately, I don't want to say shutting out the rest of the world, but yes, like kind of shutting out the rest of the world so that you can be clear in who you are and what you want. Because there is so much influencing us in the outside world. And I don't mean just like the media and politics and all of that stuff, but like the people around us. Um, the experiences that we have, right? Like the interactions we have with other people, all kinds of stuff is influencing us, our environment, um, and anything that we perceive in our world has an influence on us. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, that's part of what we're doing here. That's part of why we came here. It's part of why our souls wanted to come into this like distinct being, this like segmented sectioned off, this individuated expression, right? Because it wanted to see what it would be like to interact with things that are also individuated around it, right? Like other beings and other things. And also, like, again, like, this is your life. You're the one who has to live it, who gets to live it. You don't have to, you get to. And so, like, I'm feeling this energy of like coming home to yourself, like really kind of like putting down all of the things that are clouding you, that are pushing you in one direction or another. Like, I'm feeling this energy of coming into like a still point or neutrality, or like a 0 point or something, like coming into this like blank slate of like potential, like endless opportunities. Like, in that, it's like this energy of coming into a nothingness, and then seeing what unfolds from there, which I know it's a little um abstract maybe, but that's like what it is. It's like It feels like this coming into a nothingness almost, and then like seeing what unfolds from that, right? Which is quite profound and interesting. Like, and just to be clear, like there's a path forward. There always is, and there are always more options than we can see. There are practical steps that you can be taking right now, right? Listening and tuning into this reading is one of those steps, but it's also about like doing the work in your daily life, right? Maybe we don't call it work, right? Like we'll call it practice, right? Like what is something that you can do for literally 60 seconds. We'll start there if it's a little bit of a reach for you to try and do something, but if you feel called to, like maybe there's something you want to do longer. Like the question is, what is it that you can do to come into yourself and your energy every single day? Can you start your day coming into your energy, just breathing, just taking a breath in and paying attention to the breath in your body? That brings you into yourself, and the more you do that, the more stable in your own energy you become, and the more clarity you can have about who you are. And I do want to say also that, like, as human beings in this expression, this iteration of our soul's expression, like in this state, there is no like true nothingness that we can access. Maybe, I don't know. But just like from a practical, physical reality grounded perspective, like part of our experience here is to be impacted and influenced by things around us. And this is like one of those, spiritual paradoxes too. And also to come into our own energy and express that, like, despite what is happening around us, like, despite what people think about us, like, even when it doesn't make sense to the world around us, right? It's this balancing of, like, how do we practically exist in this world in a way that feels safe and grounded for us and that we get our needs met, and how do we move into this expanded version of us that is in flow with the universe, that is the expression of divine intelligence through us in the physical world. So, wow, we went on a journey there. If you're still here, wow. Yeah, we're gonna close there. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, on what resonated with you. I'd love to hear about how your month is going, how your year has been. Honestly, I'd love to hear about like where you're at, like how are you experiencing life right now? How are you experiencing the world right now? And just a reminder, I have my one-on-one sessions at 50% off right now. At least for the month of August, maybe into September too. I don't know how long, so definitely like book that. So you can take advantage of that opportunity to get some one-on-one support at a discounted price. And the self-worth reworked workshop is happening on September 12th. We have early bird pricing right now, so you're going to save $44 if you sign up. Again, I don't remember exactly what the date is that that you need to sign up by, so definitely do it soon. I would love to have you there. It's going to be a very empowering experience, right? This what I was speaking to about like coming back to yourself, like that's kind of what we're going to be doing in that workshop. Yeah. Okay, so that's all there. If it feels aligned for you, I would love it if you liked this video and subscribed. It supports me and my channel, and it helps other people find this content too, and it also lets me know that you're resonating with it too. So I hope you have a beautiful month of August. I'm so excited to have shared this time with you, and I will see you next month.